Hi, if you've been following us over on the Discord, you know that I've been leading up to this big thing coming January 1st. But with some scheduling stuff moving around, figuring out what I'm going to do for the rest of 2024 as well as 2025, I decided why not say it today? Why not drop that information right now, this very moment? And then I thought about it a little bit more and said, well, if I put it at the end of a video, it'll get more engagement.
You're kidding! Judge.
So I did that instead. And I realized it's a ton of fun. I'm really excited for this announcement, for this project that I've been working on, and I'm going to keep working on. Only thing is, in order to get that done, I'm going to have to put a hold on the Kostawes videos for a little bit. Today's will still drop, and I'll be dropping them kind of sporadically. We'll still have our Wednesday videos, still have our Friday videos. I just wanted to make sure that you were in the loop, and that's kind of why you're seeing me, even though it's Monday. Normally you only see me Wednesdays and Fridays, but wanted to make it clear, wanted to get it out there. You deserve the truth. And so that's what's going on. Big announcement coming at the end of this video, something I've been working on. Join the Discord so you can keep up to date on that type of stuff. And let's go ahead and hop into the video. Hey howdy hey, I'm the Thesterninator, but my friends call me Stern. Welcome to the channel, so glad you could be here joining us for our Kostawes series. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff that makes YouTube happy, and let's hop right into the video. Welcome back to the Kostawes region, a land full of Pokemon trainers, mysteries, and awe-inspiring vistas at a reasonable price. Last time we took on the Fire-type gym leader Perry and won ourselves the rescue badge before using the help of a powerful Pokemon to clear the forest and reveal a hidden passageway, emitting a strange and devastating roar, heard only to us. Today we head inside to investigate, and with 3 badges now under our belt, we continue on our journey to become the Kostawes region champion. But this cave doesn't appear as abandoned as you were led to believe. Mining tools and fixtures lay all throughout the cavern. They appear worn, but not too worn, and whoever was here left in a hurry. As you make your way through, doing as Pokemon trainers do, a Pokemon gets the drop on you, quite literally. I played with the idea of this being a stalactite type of Pokemon. I actually worked on this in a couple different variations, a stalactite, a stalagmite, a stalactite, a stalagmite, kind of working back and forth between the two before I decided, what if I did both? What if I made this Pokemon a little trotting about creature that hides itself amongst the stalactites and stalagmites of the area, and can even walk on walls to get the drop on Pokemon, as well as trainers, ambushing them by falling down and dizzying itself. Think of it like the recoil that a Pokemon may get from Headbutt. That's kind of this Pokemon's whole thing. It's all recoil all the time. It may get the drop on something by falling down and surprising it, but that crash landing, if it misses, is not something that it can take lying down. Though it probably will need to lie down after. It's a funny little dude, and I've always been really attached to those type of Pokemon. Like the idea that Pichu is so inexperienced with its electricity that it often shocks itself. I've always really felt attached to that type of idea with Pokemon. I think it's funny, I think it works with such a cute aesthetic as this franchise, and I don't know, it's something that I wanted to play with. As I've been going through this series, I keep finding little things that I've enjoyed about different Pokemon series and wanting to add them. We have a lot of mimic Pokemon, we have a lot of Pokemon that have these special qualities to them, or lore behind them, and this one, I wanted to play with that too. The idea of the Pokemon that is so inexperienced, so fresh at being a Pokemon, that it hurts itself more often than it actually does damage to those around it. So you can see these guys kind of walking throughout the tunnel if you pay close attention, as well as them just kind of dropping from the ceiling on top of you. Keep an eye out because I want to play with an ability that makes it so that they can actually damage a Pokemon prior to a battle. If a Pokemon is following or just kind of walking near you, they may fall and do some damage before the battle even starts. So this is Topsy, the fall rock Pokemon. As you can imagine, it's a pure rock type, and the shiny gives some history and lore as to what may be going on in this tunnel, with that iridescent type of glow, that bright green to the color scheme. They're not very tall and have very much a gnome-like silhouette, which I really dig. As well as this Pokemon, you may come across another, one that more so illuminates, not so much hides itself amongst the stone getting the drop on you, but illuminates and guides pathways through these areas, almost as if it's giving you safe passage into the next cavern. I wanted to play with the idea of a glowworm, and while I'm sure that we have glowworm type Pokemon in the Pokemon franchise already, it's something that I really wanted to mess with. I thought about this mine shaft and how Pokemon are often utilized to help people in their day-to-day jobs. So I thought, what if instead of lanterns, you used a glowworm type of Pokemon? It became really fun, and while I played with the idea a lot, I ended up deciding that this would be super simple. It's a Pokemon that you'd have to have a lot of in this cave, and having something very, very complex in design strategy, I felt would kind of overcrowd any type of scene that this Pokemon was in. And with the project that I've been working on, that was definitely something that I had to take into account. So I went with something very, very simple, this little grub type guy, even a very simple mouth, and I gave it the little secret behind the curtain here. I gave it the Wingull style eyes because I like them. They're so different, and playing with the different shapes that come into Pokemon and that already exist in Pokemon, I love doing that. I love looking at these aspects that shouldn't work and somehow do, like Wingull and Pelipper's eyes. They shouldn't work at all. They don't really look like eyes in even the slightest, and yet they work. And we see these types of things that do work repeated in various different Pokemon. So I wanted to do that here. Fun little bug guy. I thought, well, if we're gonna have a stony rock falling Pokemon, I want to have other stuff too. Maybe there's some sort of relation between these guys. Maybe one is the direct prey or predator to the other. I don't know, let me know down in the comments what you think about that, how this ecosystem would work. As you know, Kostawes, this whole region that I've been working on, is heavily inspired by actual real-world Pokemon and animal relations. How different animals work together or are predator or prey and adapt to be either of those things to each other. That's kind of what I've been working on, kind of a big theme of this project. So yeah, let me know down in the comments. And as per usual, let me know what abilities you think these Pokemon should have. I always love hearing about that from you guys. I feel like it's a fun opportunity for us to work together and for me to hear your ideas after you guys see mine. I love these collaborative projects, and it's one of the reasons that I'm so invested and interested in our Discord. So if you're interested in being a part of that conversation, head to the comments or to the Discord in the description below. This is Glorm, the glowworm Pokemon. Its name is just a combination of glow and worm, and I love it. Fits that whole snom type of vibe in just being a super simple Pokemon, and I think that's really cool. I need more of those in my region now that I think about it. But before we get into the stronger Pokemon of this cave, I want to remind you that I have a second channel where I do video essays, card pack openings, and interviews, as well as the occasional gameplay and live stream, so check that out. I'll have that in the description below, and if you head on over there, you can find stuff like this. I feel like it's a goodie. I hope it's worth it. Oh, should I turn it left? Should I turn it right? No idea. Oh, what do we got? What? 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 Weekly uploads will begin dropping on that channel starting in January, so head on over and subscribe now so you can be alerted when those first videos drop and become a part of the earliest set of the community. But let's get back to the video. Alongside Topsy and Glom, you may come across their evolved forms as well. These Pokemon are a little bit more powerful and exist deeper within the caves or mines or whatever you want to call it. For the evolution to Topsy, I kind of didn't know where I wanted to go. I know that I wanted to expand on the stalactite type of angle, but kept playing around with different ideas. I thought of something that was kind of akin to this big brick that just drops down from the ceiling, crashing as it fell. And while I'm sure that that can work, I kind of got a brain block. I think that I just got so invested in making this design work that I stopped thinking of any other designs. It's an area that I find artists get into a lot. Well, I get into a lot, where I get so into one specific design that I stop thinking about anything else. So I decided to erase everything and go a completely different direction with this. I thought, what if it was just a more devastating type of stalagmite, and played with that. It would be this obstacle, this thing that now, rather than dropping down and being a slight inconvenience, was a genuine danger, something that sought out to cause fights. And I really like that, so I gave it this more aggressive look. No longer is it dizzied by falling down and crashing. In fact, it looks forward to it, seeking out opportunities to fall on other Pokemon and trainers as well. And I think it's really cool. I also really like this texture that I found. It's very similar to the one used in Crustle, and I used that as a high level of inspiration for this, kind of keeping it open on the other screen so that I can keep looking at, okay, how do they handle this type of stone? I think that using that as reference and using reference at all is really useful to any artists. If you're going in on your own, that's fine, but when you're trying to do something like mimicking the style of Pokemon or create something that really fits in that same world, having reference is really, really useful. I suggest it to everybody. I often work volunteering teaching art at a local elementary school, and that's something that I know that I have to talk to them about a lot, is they feel like it's cheating. They feel like tracing is cheating. In reality, we all learn in different ways, and tracing has its boundaries, where you can look at something and say, I want to learn how to do this, so I'm going to practice it over and over and over again. I think that's fine. But utilizing it to say, I made this fully and 100%, that's where the line starts to get a little blurry. Speaking of blurry lines, I'm now going in and shading, giving it this kind of broken up and changed up design. If you watched our Eevee video that I did last week, you'll know that I kind of been playing with this new shading technique, especially here when working on Turvy, the fall rock Pokemon. It's a pure rock type now with some added strength, and that shiny with that silvery gray and that neon green is just so cool. I know that it's my own creation and I know that I made it myself, but it is a very, very cool system that will play into what we see coming up. That being the evolution of Glum. Being that it is a glowworm, I wanted to go with a more lanternfly type of element to it, but it has to go through this chrysalis type of form first. I love how Pokemon does this with their bug types, where you get to see them become this chrysalis middle stage form, and I wanted to do that with this. So, spoiler alert, this is a middle stage. We'll get more to this Pokemon at some point, but for the moment, I wanted it very, very, very much to feel like a lantern, as well as feeling just a little bit alien. I thought of this idea of the body, the chrysalis, the cocoon of this Pokemon, being this big hulking lantern that just kind of floats or is hung up on stones around for the miners in the area. And inside is the glowing little larva. As it evolves and changes within this cocoon, it glows and lets off a very, very strong light. Wonderful for as you get deeper into the caves and light becomes more and more scarce. So that was really cool. I love playing with the idea and kind of figuring out how I wanted to handle this, and kind of, like I said, giving it that more alien type of look. As you venture into the cave, I want it to feel like you're entering another planet. Just a little bit spooky, but altogether very unfamiliar. And having these weird little glowing alien bulbs all throughout definitely adds to that atmosphere. So I played with that a lot and worked on it. This is actually a second iteration of both of these Pokemon. The first one I posted to Patreon about a week and a half ago, I want to say, and continued playing with them from there. So there are versions of both of these Pokemon exclusive to Patreon members. I forget which tier, but exclusive to Patreon members for these early designs. So those early drafts are there. Think of it like a different form of Terra Leak. Terra Leak for specifically the Kostawes region. Those are the forms that ended up getting scrapped, whereas a lot of the aspects were retained with these designs. So if you want to see those, head on over to the Patreon. I also do a weekly poll that drops on Mondays and goes until Tuesday. So it's one day, and that tells us what our Wednesday video is going to be. But let's get back to Larvamp, the glowworm Pokemon. Pure bug type, it now has a higher stat total, as can be assumed, while its speed has decreased. For the size, I wanted it to feel very much like a lantern size, and for the shiny, I went with this bright white type of glow, very much standing out amidst the backdrop of the cave. But as you begin to worm your way through these collapsing tunnels illuminated by these bizarre Pokemon dodging Topsy and Turvy, that roar grows louder and louder, until this behemoth of a Pokemon drops in front of you. You proceed to chuck every Pokemon you have at it, but it almost seems to only make it angrier. As it begins to wander towards you, dragging its large, hulking body behind it, you realize that you're out of usable Pokemon. Normally, you'd white out and run back to the Poke Center, but it looks like you don't get that chance here. Until a familiar face joins the battle. Without a word, he hands you an experimental Pokeball, and you throw it at this beast. And soon, it's captured. The ball falls to the ground, and he steps forward. I told you this would be tough. At least, I thought I did. I'll take the Pokemon from here. He extends his hand, waiting for you to put the Pokeball in it. But something doesn't feel right. Something feels wrong about this whole situation, and you pull it back. I should have known. Well, if that's the way you want to do things. He steps back and pulls out a Pokeball similar to your own, and throws it out, releasing this. Those of you following the ARG will be no stranger to this Pokemon or its importance in the story. But for you, now, this is a problem. You have no Pokemon left except for one. But will it be able to hold its own? These two titans with something tremendous in common, but as of yet unknown what that could be. We bring this chapter of Kostawes to a close on one heck of a cliffhanger, a battle between two titans. And I want to thank all of the people who've helped to make this series and others possible. A special thanks to Soren Frost, Styx the Bear, Jesse Badger, Teacup Cryptid, and Dan Bush for their ongoing support, as well as all of the followers over on the Patreon and Ko-fi. Now, before we move on into the whole, hey, ending, see you next time type of stuff, I believe that I owe you an announcement that the people on Discord have been getting little glimpses of throughout the past couple weeks. So, I've been working on something I've been doing in secret ever since we first launched into Kostawes. While you all have been watching, commenting, and liking the Kostawes series, which I thoroughly enjoy and very appreciative of, I've been behind the scenes writing scripts, creating character models, action sequences, battle animations, and I'd like to tell you that the game is finally done and playable. I'd like to tell you that. I really would. But truth be told, we're far from it. But as I continue to work on this project, I'm going to be pausing the Kostawes series, at least until after the holidays. You'll be able to keep track on the progress of the game through the Discord in the description, as well as on my other socials where I'll be putting updates. The current name for the two versions of the game, each with their own exclusive Pokemon and story variations, are Pokemon Harmony and Discord. If you've been watching the previous Kostawes videos and the ARG stuff, hopefully you'll get an inkling as to why. But for the moment, it sounds a lot like you know where to find me and where to get information on this project. So I'll catch you in the next one. And don't forget that while you're at the Discord, take part in our Advent calendar. Every day I'm dropping a different prompt, mysteriously somewhere on the Discord, that you can do fan art of, and I post my favorites on our Monday videos, like these ones. Duostern by the Lolgan captures some of my favorite aspects of mimicry, and this is stupendous. Sunny D Not the Drink gave us this little boxy guy, and I dig it beyond belief. We also have Pichu, who gave us this monkey grass moss type based on Yule Lads, and Ori, who gave us not one crystal snowflake Pokemon, but two with this schooling form that makes it absolutely massive. For Tree Topper, Ollie gave us a star-nosed mole with an actual star, and Mice gave us this 3-stack of little snowball men, and I love them. Liam always gives us some great stuff, but my favorite was this Stringlight Pokemon, followed by NXDFR, who gave us Naginbox? I love it. Hunter Neo gave us a convergent line for one of my Pokemon, so it had to make it in. We also have Gym Leader JC giving us this regional Crustle, or holiday Crustle, and Goth Fox with just a beautiful design for Nummel. Look at that guy. Also, we have Ginger Nutter 88 who gave us this tree. Again, Mimic Pokemon, my favorite. Evan the Frosty gave us a regional Mime Jr. for Peppermints. Dystopia gave us this, look at it. And DGO gave us this crazy Mistletoe Spider. Love it. And how can you have anything against this little guy made by Chase? It's a little mistletoe. He's adorable. Blue Artist 246 gave us this peppermint monkey, and I dig him so much. He's on the team. And let's finish it up with Azzy Cosplay, who gave us a G-Max for Lantern. You guys blow me away with how crazy you can get with these designs, and it's incredible. So thank you guys so much. Continue. We're going to have another one every single day throughout the month of December, all the way up to Christmas. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.